Rautsa.
A re tla o laisa.
I go re bona ba ba tsena ra ke na le ke tla ira bookshelf.
O sampane o siame. So mo ke mokoro wa gaetsho. This is the traditional way mokoro tota no dirwa bogologolo teng mo Okavango Delta. Ano mokoro tota no dirwa ka ditlhare tse di harologaneng. Go na le mokutšhomo, which is the jackalberry, kgotsa moporota one the sausage tree. Mme ka ha no dirwa ka teng le ha le nna ke le moeng ka kwano mme ke sa bolo go nna kwano ha ke ntse ke utlwa bagolo ba bua ke o tibisa one le go lone le la star se se golo se se tona o tsenya mo metsing a ke ra no wa souka o batla go nne motho ho re ha o ntso wa go betla ho ka selepe o bo betla o itse gore o betla selo se leng gore se motho ha sa tlhola se le metsi se le thata.
No, I just wanted us to appreciate the natural patterns that the wood has created, and as part of our giving knowledge to teachers, it's something that falls in line with their syllabus because they're supposed to teach kids the difference between man-made patterns and naturally made patterns, and I think this would be a brilliant example.
Yes. So would you consider this pattern man-made?
Yeah, this one
with
would
the
be
carving?
man-made. So this would be man-made versus naturally created.
Yeah.
My name is Koketso Koki Mookodi. I am a conservation enthusiast. I am a conservation educator. I am a mother. I am a daughter. I am a National Geographic explorer, and most importantly, I am a lover of nature. I found myself in the Okavango Delta 20 years ago, looking for something to believe in. Having grown up in Gaborone, born and raised, I didn't have the privilege of being exposed to nature or be immersed into nature unless it was when I was going to cattle post. And I'd say that was my first exposure to nature and the healing properties and the calming ambience that it creates. This is a beautiful depiction of the difference between naturally created patterns, the groove of the wood, the natural groove of the wood, versus what's been etched to create the shape of the mokoro, which is what these etches have been made by an axe, a traditional axe. You can tell because of the shortness of the chippings.
Yeah, the chippings, yes.
I got to spend a lot of time following my grandfather, as he was herding his cattle. I was always there, but what also stuck out to me was the nature, the sounds of nature that were always shared to me by the people who took care of my grandfather's cattle. Most nature experiences are very masculine in terms of hunting and all of that, and not much is shed, not much light has been shed on the feminine aspects of nature. And so that kind of attracted me to come out here. I came out here not expecting and knowing what I was looking for. I found myself working in the safari world, which was very, very different and very Western. And thanks to the education that I was brought up in, I was able to relate to the services that were offered. It made me realize a lot more about the inclusion or the lack of inclusion of people who look like me in the space of conservation. And there I found a niche of a voice that wasn't heard, a narrative that wasn't ours. And when I say ours, I mean the people of Botswana, the people who are coming from these areas. What fascinated me was the people who have been living alongside these wild animals, but most importantly, how these people have been able to keep this pristine landscape as it is.
More water fig, and the water fig usually we born on the edges or can I where there's a flood plain or bobo elevation or water fig. Water fig. There's several others that you'll see that always encompass themselves around an island. And why we say this is an island is because of that termite mount. Termites are extremely important for the ecosystem and the creation of islands, especially here in the Okavango Delta. And as you can see, there's trees that are growing around this termite mound. Ke gone gore the termite di dirisa the sap from the tree. Me gape gore bontsha gore small animals like squirrels have actually come in here and planted this particular tree. So you'll see by, how it's now forming itself is that little bit of moist that
We've always kind of looked at nature from the Western conservation's lens and not really appreciated the indigenous conservation, which that we shouldn't even put the word conservation because it's a way of life for the people who live out here.
When you observe Sulu, say look at where it's bending right now and look at where the sun is. So the sun is predominantly on the eastern side, but where the termite mount is actually slanting to, or 1 hour it's slanting more to the west. So for direction, if ever amotola Sulu is your best bet to get you to a location that would, to an idea of which location you're walking towards or where you are basically moving away from.
What I'm doing is leaning in on the traditional knowledge of these landscapes and meeting them in a space where it can be understood. Because of the nice combinations of sand and the saliva that the termites use to build the termite mound, it creates a substance or close to cement, and most people in these communities use termite mounds, break them down and make bricks to build their homes. There's a whole big portion, a very important portion of the Okavango Delta that is not recognized, and that's the people. And in order, the best way to achieve that is to immerse people into these spaces and give them bespoke experiences where they are interacting with local communities. And it's time we caught up with the indigenous knowledge, which hasn't changed, but how do we include that indigenous knowledge to make it relevant to current or modern tourism products? How do we include community members to be a part of the value chain? So that is my mission, is to bring knowledge to all the various demographics of these communities. It has to be driven from the ground by the people. They will know what they need. They will know what the land needs because they've been living on this land much longer than most.